Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for listening. We are Astrano. My name is King, and I'll be hosting today's podcast. Uh, Introduce yourself, guys.
My name is Grace.
My name is Neff.
Hi guys, I'm Melania.
I'm Rebecca.
All right, and today we're going to talk about cold immersion and cold therapy. But before we do, we just wanted to honor a man that really, for me, and I guess for us, really introduced and paved the way into this what do we call this activity or like practice, right?
Yeah,
Practice.
healing practice
Yeah.
even.
So Wim Hof. So Wim Hof, for you guys that don't know, he's a Dutch extreme athlete who holds 26 Guinness World Record that were long believed to be impossible. He remained submerged in ice for almost 2 hours. He climbed Mount Everest wearing only his shorts and shoes. He ran a marathon, and if you guys don't know how long a marathon is, it's 42 kilometers in a Namib desert without drinking water. Running half marathon above the Arctic Circle barefoot, only wearing shorts. So, and lastly, he did an experiment where I think it was E. coli that was injected in his body, and through breath he was able to kill all those bacteria. And he also proved that he's not special. He I think there was an experiment where there was 12 people. 6 people was he guided through a meditation and breath work. The 6 was just regular, and the 6 people that he guided was the same. They weren't affected by the E. coli. So it's really fascinating. Yeah, and to start this conversation, cold immersion. What is that for you guys? What is cold immersion? How do you perceive cold immersion? What is it to you?
For me, it's like this intense, like me and King started this, it was over 2 years ago now, hey? And for me, like I came into cold therapy at a point in my life where I needed it really badly. I needed like something to help me break through and start healing my body, my traumas. The list goes on. But for me, it was just like so exciting to like go through that process of going into something so uncomfortable and realizing that like we have the power to control like how we feel in those discomfort, like in the when the external is really like uncomfortable, we can actually control our body state. And it was like, oh my God, like I can calm my body down. Like I can face this fear head on and relax into it and like become stronger as a human being and become more mature. So for me, it was like, it really helped me face my fears in a lot of other areas in my life and really start taking on trauma like head on fully at that point.
Thanks for sharing.
And probably similar for me too. Cold therapy has been this huge introduction to entering back into the body when you're in panic or when you are, perceiving something that you deem undoable or uncomfortable. It really brings you back to this, I'm doing it. And I was telling King this earlier. Like studies have been done that when you do something and it scares you and you calm yourself down while you're doing it, you're rewiring your neural pathways in your brain. So when you're doing that continuously, you're allowing your body to know that it's safe, even if in the past you've been scared while doing it. And that's what the practice has really become for me, just this immersive therapy. And that's what it is, truly. It's such a therapy.
I think that cold therapy for a lot of us is just a way to come back to the body and just feel present and in yourself. The soul, body, mind connection. That's what it is for me, for sure. Not to mention the delicious benefits, which include feeling amazing, body aches and pains gone, no more Advil popping issues.
Yes.
I know that's a problem for probably a lot of people out there, just like pain, but pain is it's more of a mental thing in a lot of ways. So I think that's what we've been saying. You can train your mind it's the same thing with fear too. So you can train your mind to get you past anything that's kind of stopping you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful. To me, cold immersion is like a breath of fresh air, but it's like no other breath you've ever taken before. It's like breathing for the first time and fully filling your lungs for the first time. It's hard to describe. It gets you moving and your brain flowing and the creative juice is just going, and you can think a lot clearer because a lot of your pain is gone. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I love that you guys tapped into different things, because I'm gonna share this. It's a great way to segue. So according to Dr. Rhonda Patrick, when your body is cold, it produces a hormone and neurotransmitter in the brain called, here we go, neuropinephrine. Is that
Yeah,
right?
pretty good.
Which helps with focus and attention and has been used to treat depression and ADHD. So what neuropinephrine does is it causes your body to make more mitochondria. Again, here we go, guys. Help me out here. Mitochondria, right?
Mitochondria or something.
There you go, that word. And they help turn the energy we take from food into energy that the cell can use. So what happens is, it also, what neuropinephrine do is, it's an anti-inflammatory, and helps alleviate pain, strengthens the connection between synapses of your brain, so you can remember better. So we tapped into different things that the cold does to the body and to the mind, to the soul. But I want to get into what you, Milani, said about that mind, body, and soul connection, because I resonate with that a lot. When I'm in the water, I could just kind of feel this certain way of, like, my body knows I'm in the water, my mind knows I'm in the water, and this connection with the water and the land and the air is just like that oneness. It's something that, like, with you, Rebecca, I can't really put words into, but it's something really, really cool. So when you guys are in the water, what kind of things are you thinking? What's going on in your head? Or maybe if there's nothing going on in your head, like, what's your intention? What is it for you? What's your relationship with that practice?
Do you want to go?
Sure, yeah. I was just going to share on this, like, because we're bringing in the nervous system today, obviously, and that's a big, like, I think all of us practice cold therapy together, and it's one thing that really united even our group here of Astrano. Like, cold therapy was one of those main pillars that we were like, hey, let's get together for dips, and, like, okay, that turned into let's meditate after, and, let's have juice parties and drum and dance, and you know what I mean? It just got bigger and bigger, but cold therapy was one of those initial pillars. Because it's so addicting. Like, the first time when I first found cold therapy I was like probably a week and a half out of like a huge breakup in my life, where me and my partner had separated, and we were together like 3-4 years before that. So it was really traumatic, and my initial response to that breakup was to fly to my mom's in Victoria, the ocean. She lives right on the ocean. It's insane. And there's beautiful forests there. She's like, just come out here and like heal in nature. And her roommate loved cold therapy. He would just swim in the ocean every morning. And it took me about 5, like maybe on the 5th time he asked me, because he went every morning for a swim. And the 5th time I was kind of like, okay, I better go this time, because he's not going to stop asking me. And I do really like want to go and experience it. And I went in the water and I was like, oh my God, like I could just feel it right away that like, this is so powerful. And like, I'm already addicted to this. Like, I went in and I thought like it was going to be cold and uncomfortable, but he was like, no, just get your breathing down. Just start relaxing. I calmed my nervous system down. I learned how to calm my nervous system in extreme situations of, discomfort and where our body wants to panic. And I think that's why we're bringing up cold therapy first when it comes to the nervous system, because I was able to heal from that breakup, I believe, a lot quicker because I had that nervous system training really early on to, you know what I mean? Like relax, get the body relaxed, even if the environment is intense, get the body relaxed, soothe the body, and it can handle anything.
I love that you brought that up, because I'm gonna tap into this thing that I've read. And so so our body is actually, our body is capable of adapting to stressors. Any type of stress, it's able to adapt. However, for the last hundreds of years, we've gotten into this space where we've become so comfortable in our life that, whenever we experience something, a little bit of stress, we're like, we just panic. We're like, ah. But the cold, as Wim said, will, tap us back into that core, to that depth of our being. And it's just fascinating. It's very cool.
It's very empowering. Because, like, you don't want to go, and then you do go, and then you're like, afterwards, you're just pumped because you did it. And it draws you back entirely into your body, into, I can handle this, I can breathe through this. And that's something that Wim talks about too, right? He uses his breath to regulate himself, and that's what we've been focusing on too. You can heat yourself up with your breath, and you can cool yourself down with your breath. We are so powerful. Any situation we're put into, we can regulate ourselves, and it's just remembering that. It's such an interesting thing to get back into, because a lot of people feel out of control, or that they are at the whim of their whatever situation they're put in. They can't control it. They don't feel that they can support themselves. But there is a remembrance in the water that, you're this powerful being, and that you can survive, you can do it, you can come out of it 100 times stronger.
Yeah. And the benefit of this is that once you start, going into the water, and, as he said, you want to get to a point where it's not cold water, it's just water. It's like that cold is just, it's nothing. It's just, it's not good or bad. It's just water. And when he said that, I started thinking like, man, that's deep. That's very cool, because it's like, it really makes you think into this space of like, oh, it's really just being in the body. And also, because most of our lives we spend, it's spent in our head. We're thinking about stuff. We're in the past, we're in the moment, in the future. But when you're in the water, you're just with your body. But yeah, for me, my relationship with it is essentially the same. I started when I was trying to look for, something new, because I'm into the space of personal development. I love learning. I love all that fun stuff. And when I started getting into Wim Hof, when I first tried, actually I hated it. It was just like, what is this? Like, why do people do this? But the first couple tries, it was terrible. But then on the, like, I think I saw when he said just do this breathing technique, and then when I started doing it, it made sense, because then I was like, oh, I started to see the cold. Like, at first my mindset was just like, it's so cold, it's so cold. But then the next couple of tries, now it's just like, okay, it's just water, it's just water, it's just water. And then it got to a point where it's just, okay, it's just water. Like, my body is like reacting. It's not even, it doesn't even register as cold. It's just like my body is responding to the stress, and I just gotta breathe through it, and I'll be fine. And soon enough, we started doing, we challenge ourselves to like get in there longer. And yeah, it's intense, because for me, it's just the health benefits of it, first and foremost, is insane. Like, yeah, I've never never felt so great, so yeah, it's my story.
It's
What
like
about you
going
ladies
for
over
deep.
there?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Rebecca.
It's like deep tissue massage in a river. That's what it's like. Coming back to you saying it's just water, it's just water. If you really stop and think about it, our body is made mostly of water. So what is that connection? What to us using this as a therapy, this cold hydrotherapy, it, for me, I just feel completely like everything goes back in line or something. It's not a very specific way to describe it, but that it's a feeling. Everything just kind of aligns, and your power, instead of just being trapped in all of these different places, just aligns. And I just feel my best. That's the best way for me to kind of describe it. But it's cool. We're made of water, so naturally we're drawn to it.
For me, it's a release. So the moment that I like hit the water, it's first about screaming and like letting it out, whatever it is I need to let out, and just like and to get that scream out, I'm like releasing so much, and it's almost like the water carries it away and washes you with new energy, and you kind of just like sit in a river or a lake or an ocean or a sea, whatever it is, of magic, and you get refilled and cleansed in a way.
Just having all of you guys around too makes a huge difference.
Support,
the support and the love that you feel, and the fun and the laughter, and just the chance to just be in that moment with each other, with one another. It's
the most present that you can really feel, because you will never be more present than in that moment of like, holy shit, this water is so cold. You know, like you are in the now when you're having a dip, because it takes everything to live in that moment, and I think that's a really cool thing.
And there's so much power in being in the present, because in the present holds the key to like the possibility of the infinite, you know, like in any moment you can do anything. And it's just that like step by step. But I want to touch base with what you guys said with the water and the healing, right? Neff, like your mom, Tracy, she mentioned, I'll never forget, when she said when she goes into the water to heal herself, the water also heals, because you know, like the water remembers, and this planet has gone through so much terrible violence, wars, and you know, all this stuff. So whenever we go into the river, to the lake, whatever body of water, I also feel that like when I come in, I have this intention of I'm gonna heal myself, but that intention is carried by the river, and then it goes to the world. And I think that's such a powerful thing to do, you know, especially if you do it on a, you know, on consistent basis every other day. It's so powerful. It's just it's something that I can't even comprehend it in my mind. It's just like that divine connection.
Like for the girls right now, they're over on the Sunshine Coast, and so they're able to go in the ocean, so I'm sure they can testify. And that was my first time going into cold therapy too, was at the ocean there on the coast of BC. And it is crazy, the connection you feel to like the whole world almost. Like, hey, it feels like you're just connected to the whole universe in there. So we do recommend, like a lot of people do the cold showers. And I don't think any of us are a huge fan of those. Like when you can get to the river and stuff, for sure, do a cold shower instead of like nothing. But if you can find a cold body of water that's natural, or I know it's hard because a lot of people will live somewhere where it's warmer, but if you travel down to Canada, hit us up, because we'll take you into the cold, really cold river, baby, and you can get all connected with nature, because it's just another like beautiful aspect if you can connect in with the earth when you do it. But yeah, a big part of cold therapy for me, like everyone's just been saying, is like it is so intensive. Like you have no other choice. Like if you go into the water, you have the choice to either relax your breathing and calm your nervous system down, or freak out, and then you're getting out of the water. Because if you start freaking out, your body can't handle it, and you'll be needing to get out. But if you choose the path of like, let's calm the nervous system, I'm okay, I can relax in this space, I'm gonna get through this, you know, the body calms down, that you don't even feel the pain anymore, and your muscles will actually relax instead of contract, right? And that's what you need to get the healing of and the benefits as well, is you need to relax into it so that the flow can happen within the body. But a huge part of cold therapy which Wim Hof is talking about too, but it's the mental health aspect that the cold therapy, and they're doing lots of studies and stuff that prove and show that cold therapy, doing it just, I think it's like 11 minutes a week, me and King read, you just have to be submerging yourself for 11 minutes a week. So that can be 2 to 3 different sessions of like 2 to 3 minutes each kind of thing. And you will have the benefits. Okay. And these benefits include reducing anxiety and depression by like 70 to 80%. So and that is because you learn, like, I think I believe that, like, it's because you learn how to soothe yourself. You learn how to relax so that when your anxiety peaks up, you can, it's okay, I've got myself, you can relax yourself better. And then lots of the health benefits. So you become healthier, which reduces anxiety too, because you're just a healthier human, you're happier, right? So if you have anxiety or depression, like, this would probably be the number one thing that I would recommend for you is the cold therapy.
Yeah, start taking cold showers. And also with that, our human brain, right? We have survived throughout this millennia, this thousands of years, because of that fear. That's what kept us alive, And so you can't really hate on yourself when you don't want to go into the water, because it's just your body trying to keep you alive. But that's the beauty of the cold therapy, is you can tap into that brain that says, the fight, flight, or freeze. The mammalian reptilian brain, one of those. And what happens is you can actually see it at work, but you don't have to be influenced by it. You can see it working. Like you can see your mind going like, I gotta go. My mind's, my I'm gonna lose my hands, my fingers. But once you can focus your attention into your breath, then that's when everything changed. Because once you start focusing on your breath and while you're paying attention to your mind, you just really like take that attention away from the terrifying noisy mind into your breath. Always bring it back, and that's the practice, and that's the journey, the practice of bringing it back to the breath. And you can take this practice outside of the cold when you're in a situation where maybe it's stressful, you have to deal with a hard conversation, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to present this deal to like investors, and whatever aspect in life you're in, you can use the techniques that you learn by going to the cold in that situation. And so that's something that I find really, really cool. Yeah. So for what do you guys, what's something that you guys can share, or like tips on people that want to get started on this journey of this cold therapy? Because I think, as we talked about, the cold therapy is the doorway, the gateway to many healing modalities. It's just the one step,
And it's the most exciting one, because like you get the benefits right after you do it for the first time. And like we've had cold therapy events, as I'm sure some of you have seen, and a lot of first timers are going in, and then we see them later on, whether in our friend groups and stuff, and they've been like, yeah, I'm doing the cold showers every day now. Like, let me know when you guys are going to the river next, because I'm coming. Like, I'm obsessed. It's just about doing it for that first time.
Yeah, I would recommend not thinking. Anytime you build it up, it becomes, because the mind's really good at that. Anytime you give it an inch, it'll take a mile, right? So I would recommend, that's what we always say even when we go down to the river, anytime it's like, nope, don't think about it, just start walking in,
just go.
Just go. And then once you get there, it's warrior mode, right? It's like, I'm here. But there's 2 different ways to go about it, right? This is always what King says. You can either be the warrior going in, or you can be surrender. I'm here now, right? And you'll find your groove, right, about what feels best in terms of what you want, and it'll be day to day, right? Whatever your energy you're in, but just do it.
This is like an offside topic, but I think it plays into that masculine and feminine role of like allowing yourself to really embody that the surrender feminine and that warrior of masculine, so you can play around with it. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think just find a group of people that you really love and cherish, and just go jump in. I don't know, it's hard in Calgary. Just like the ice. The breaking into the ice is the scariest part for me to begin with. but I love it. But yeah, just take time and go with people that you love. That's the funnest part of it is having this community. So join us February 8th for a delicious dip.
Yeah. February 5th.
It's February 5th.
February 5th.
You're so cute.
Love you.
Well, we really.
Yeah, I think the getting to the water is, you know, probably one of the hardest parts, because once you're there, you kind of have to go in. Because you're already there, you might as well go in.
Mm-hmm.
And then just keep going in. Because I think once you stop at like your ankles or your knees or whatever it is, it'll be harder for you. Just like keep walking in warrior mode. Like King says,
Know your power.
know your power, know your breathing and your breath, because that's the most important part. It is really mind over matter. You can stay in that water, and once you get over the first, I'd say what, like minute and a half, 2 minutes, you almost like you can't really feel your body at that point. You're just healing.
100%.
Yeah.
Becca and I are going to start doing swims. So there's a little dock right near where we're staying. And there's a little island off with some trees on it. So that's going to be the goal, to just swim to the island.
Oh,
That's
you girls
so
can do
cool.
it. I believe in you
So
girls.
we can get the whole nature. I think the nature is what changes what's the difference with the shower and nature. It just connects you in so much more. Like you can feel the love, Mama Gaia's just love that she has for you when you're in that water. It is not, you can't compare it to anything. It's incredible.
Can't be tamed.
No.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for sharing all of that. Now, before we conclude this podcast, this is for me my I guess tips for you guys if you want to get started. There's really a couple ways. The first one is very basic, cold shower. If you take a hot shower, warm water, whatever, just take your shower, and then before you leave that shower, put it to the very cold, and like Rebecca said, just stay for at least, on your first try, maybe you can try, I don't know, like 5 seconds, 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5,
Yeah,
10
try
seconds.
5, 10 seconds, just try it and just really feel it, like feel the cold, like what is cold, like whoo, and then you'll be rejuvenated, because what it does is it makes you realize, oh, I can do it, I can stay, like I'm not gonna die, like and once you get over that, then you can experiment, like, okay, how can you stay longer and longer. Now if you really have so much anxiety in that, just grab a bucket, fill it with ice water, put your hands in, put your hands in, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then just experiment, just expose yourself to discomfort, really. And yeah, it will be really, really beneficial for you in the long run.
Yeah. And get your breathing. Like, a good thing that I was told the first time I was in the ocean doing cold therapy for the first time was, like, I started to do the breathing, and he was like, no. Like, get your breathing to, like, you're just standing chatting with a friend or sitting at the dinner table with your family. Like, how would you be breathing then? Like, just regular breathing out the nose, like you're not, like, literally not breathing deeply at all, just like get it to normal breathing, because it does trick the body to, like, calm down, because your breathing is calm, right? So the body follows the breath, I think, right, in those situations. So definitely get your breath to, like, just regular in out nose breathing as quick as possible, and you'll be surprised how fast your body relaxes.
Any last words?
I did want to say one thing. A lot of the time when I talk to people about cold therapy or my experiences, they're just straight away like, that's dangerous. Or how could you do that? Like, you could get sick, or hypothermia, like my grandma especially. So I want to bring up the topic too, that with the breathing and with the intention, you can really hold space for yourself to be. And Alyssa said this too, right? When you go into that space, if you start panicking, you could end up in a uncomfortable situation afterwards.
Yeah.
It's all about how you decide to handle the situation. If you, and two, we say this too when we're in the river, if you start feeling a little too nauseous or you're buzzing, like, get out, you know, don't hurt yourself, but go to that space where, okay, I'm uncomfortable, stay there for as long as you can and exit. And it's not dangerous as long as you like honor your boundaries, remain in your breath, and regulate. So I just want to say that too, because some people will get scared about the experience.
Yeah.
Which is fair, but it is safe.
It's valid.
Yeah. And
yeah, like my take on that too is I think back in the day, this is just my personal opinion that nobody asked for, but back in the day, I think that like, because I think we probably would walk around in the cold a lot, maybe like half nude and stuff, right? Like I think that we've gotten, like King was saying, more and more in more and more comfort in a lot of different ways. And I think that like we've had less cold exposure. So like Grace is saying, if it's your first time, like ease into it, but your body will again build like its, you know, natural mechanism to be able to handle the cold over time. And they actually did just prove that in studies with Wim Hof recently, that like it does really build up and like so it's less cold feeling once you've gone for a while. But I think it's innately within our body kind of structure, and it's within our abilities for sure to like walk around in the middle of winter with a t-shirt on and stuff like that. You just have to rebuild that up. And yeah, the panicking, right? Like some people do die of hypothermia after like 10 minutes in ice water, that are like stuck in an ice hole, or like 20 minutes, right? They'll get hypothermia, but they're panicking, right? They're panicking that whole time. They're not in a relaxed state. They probably have no cold exposure, like we're saying, over time building that up. So it is definitely safe. And just for your first time, like King said, like just, you know, push however far you can, but like start with 20 seconds, then you go to 30, then you go to 40, you know, then push to a minute, and just slowly build that up over time.
Lastly, before actually, Gross, you wanna say anything for so with the cold, so it's the cold shock protein that's been found in people who regularly swim in winter, called RBM3. So that thing is formed when you go regularly, so it creates that protein in your body, and what it does is it slows the onset of dementia and repairs cell damages. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And lastly, so I found this from Marines Museum. Apparently indigenous tribe called Powhatan, I don't know, sorry for mispronouncing this, but they essentially dunk their babies into the cold river, you know, like, baby, cold river, here you go. And then you know, and they do that to for them, it's to teach them courage, and to, you know, it's to help benefit. So really it puts things in perspective, you know, where in this side of the country or whatever, they're doing that. And also in Russia, you know, in Russia they put babies outside just to take a nap, like in the winter, you know, they put, you know, blankets over them, and then they just put them outside, you know, get them to sleep, take a nap. And yeah, it's like, for me, the biggest thing is really learning from all these angles, from different sides, different perspectives, and, you know, getting what works for you. And to conclude this podcast, we just want to say thank you so much for your time, your space, and for listening. And we highly encourage you to dive in and to start the journey by taking your first cold shower. And if you do take that first step, let us know on our Instagram at official Astrano. And keep in the loop.
Let us know how it goes. If you're hearing this right now, go take a cold shower right now.
Do it now. Right now.
Yeah, it's so good connecting with you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Alrighty. Love you guys.
Bye.